BIPOC women in the industry, it's doubly hard. If you don't fit a certain mold, if you don't look a certain way, you don't sound a certain way, you don't do a certain style of music, you don't sound like the cookie cutter, oh my God, you're a black girl, you got to sound like every single R&B singer that's out there. We each have something uniquely different to offer. Everybody's trying to put you in a box and still trying to deal with like the music business side of things that makes it ugly.
That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. Tell me how you feel. That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. Black excellence at its finest. How that skin glows, she's a true diamond. With the world at her back, she's still smiling. Never left that crown till she stays thriving. That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. Keep it real. That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. Is that really it though?
What up, y'all? This is Daz It Daz All. My name is KC Carnage. I'll be your host. And today, we'd like to do a couple of things around here. Usually we're having conversation, but I also want to make sure that the show is about highlighting the beautiful things that Black artists and Black women artists are doing. And today we have on the show Dessy Dilauro. Hey. And this lady, let me tell you, like, she has a sound that you will know if you heard it from wherever you hear it at. It's so unique. It's so beautiful. I know her personally from, I think the first time that I saw you perform was even before we met. We were at Sayers.
Right.
And you were doing Parlor Social.
Yes.
And what's so cool about that project that you have is that they fuse like different sounds of varied kind of music, like ragtime, swing, R&B, soul, hip hop, all of that. And you can't really put her in a box. Now, I know you sent me some information about how you're like reinventing your sound into more like lo-fi, like R&B kind of style. But, I'm going to let her talk more about it. I'm not going to talk more about it. But I do want to ask you, who are you as an artist?
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you for having me, by the way.
Oh, no problem.
Who I am as an artist. Wow. I'm still growing as an artist. And so I'm fusing into all my cultural influences right now. Started doing it before, and then I kind of put it aside, and I was like, I'll get to it at some point in time.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that I started working on the stuff, and just wasn't right. And, I've been working with my husband. We have a project together, and that took off. And now I feel like I had to go back to myself, had to go back to the solo project. I have, after the pandemic, we all went through some stuff during the pandemic. And so just made me realize that I need to do stuff that I really, really love. Mm-hmm. And I'm in this healing period right now, and I want to be my authentic self. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to morph all my sounds that I grew up on, because Afro-Brazilian, Cuban, Italian, born in Canada, speak French.
Do you speak these languages as well?
All of them.
Okay,
yeah.
Drop something. Okay.
Yeah, so five languages fluently, and so I'm also going to be singing in my languages, in Spanish, Portuguese, and French and stuff. So I just wanted to get back to that place because I wanted to morph Afro-Brazilian, Afro-Cuban, tribal vibes.
I love that. I love that. That's my jam. Like, people always say I'm a mamacita at heart. Like, I know I was a mamacita in my past life for sure, because
Lolita.
any kind of Afrobeat, any kind of conga drum, whatever you call it, steel drum, whatever it is, I'm moving. And the food is amazing. The only thing that I really don't like are the men, but like, it is what it is.
Because I don't know where you've been and where the men are at. If it's LA men. From these cultures, but no, the men are like,
okay, they're lovers. They're like moving their hips. I got you. And okay, so when you decided, whenever it was a little girl or maybe later in your life, like, what made you decide to create the music? I mean, we can talk about Parlor Social first, because I know that was your project that you said that took off. What made you guys even come up with that concept? Because I mean, like, that's not super modern. That's not something that you're hearing on the radio every day.
It's so crazy because I was raised with so many amazing influences. The Duke Ellington, the Cab Callaways, like all that old, like classic stuff, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, and then mix it up with R&B, soul, and all this other stuff. And, it kind of morphed into this thing. I've been working with my husband forever since we started dating. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, this is part of me too. Like, let's just kind of vibe with it and see what we come up with. And we came up with a pretty unique sound, but it's a hard sell. And we always got told, like, it's either it's going to fly or it's going to fail. And so, we've done okay. We've done pretty well. And we've kind of created this really amazing project and vibe and a niche thing. But we've been, as indie artists, you're spending all your money. Like, how long are we going to keep, like, pushing this thing and, like, keep hitting our heads? It's a lot of money.
Isn't that the thing, though? Like, it's like, either we stand by what we're doing and we pretty much will go into a hole for what we believe in. But, like, it is that challenge where you have to decide, like, okay, how much more of it do I have in me? And I think I remember saying something I was talking to one of my friends here on the episode, and I was just like, like, we're talking about vision. It was like, when you have a vision, it's not necessarily the vision all the time. It's just that vision help with something else or push something else. So it's a hard thing to say, like, this has been my baby. And especially when you've put so much into it, it's hard to let go of something you put so much into. It's like, but it's one of those reality checks sometimes that I think,
I will tell you, I mourned it. I was grieving, during the pandemic. We decided, like, that's it. We're going to take a break. I mean, we still, if people will call us for shows and stuff, we'll still do shows, obviously, because, we created this thing. And, every now and then we'll get calls for jazz festivals and stuff. We'll still perform, but we're not avidly pushing it.
And it was such a great show. Like I said, that was like the first time I saw it was when I first moved out here. Well, it was at the Sayers Club. She had tap dancers and stuff. It was like big. I was just like, who is this woman? And then you had like this top hat and like this trail, like this like lace trail that was happening. And you sang so beautifully. I'm like, who is this woman? And then also like being somebody new in the scene and just also new to LA, you were just so warm. Like it was
it's so crazy because you were working with a group that was doing the burlesque.
Yes, I was
steampunk music as well. So it's like we were really pushing the Harlem Renaissance meets today, like full force. And so it was really special. I still look at it and go like, ugh.
I mean, and then again, like, there's always hope, that there's always things to come back to,
Sometimes you just gotta set it aside.
Set it aside. Okay. Well, I mean, okay, so we touched a little bit on like, that friction that you had with that. But I also wanted to ask you, like many of us need to know in the industry, like what challenges have you faced, not only as that project or going into the project you want to go into, or just like dealing with certain sessions and like, cause we all sing for other people too. We're also, giving a helping hand to other people's projects. So like, I want to know what kind of challenges that you have faced.
Ooh, gosh, the struggle is real. First of all, BIPOC women in the industry, it's doubly hard. And you know this. It's just like, and it's crazy. It's just like, if you don't fit a certain mold, if you don't look a certain way, you don't sound a certain way, you don't do a certain style of music, you don't sound like the cookie cutter, oh my God, you're a Black girl, you got to sound like, every single R&B singer that's out there that's doing R&B. Like, we each have something uniquely different to offer. Like, we're not all the same. We all have different sounds. So I feel like that's the thing. Everybody's trying to put you in a box and still trying to deal with like the music business side of things that makes it ugly. And that's tough. And this city could be like unforgiving. So that's a challenge in itself. I swear I'm positive. I swear I'm a positive person.
I mean, I asked the question, and we here to keep it real. Yes. That's literally what it's about. Yes. I mean, it's so funny that you say, like, you said something about that box, and like depending on, like, BIPOC women, having those challenges. Like, I remember straight up asking this band I was working with, they put it up an audition about needing singers, and one of my good friends was the keys player for this. She was like, Casey, you'd be great, come out audition. Made the audition. They want somebody that can dance and sing, which I can't do as well. I did one gig with them. It was great. It was like an outdoor gig. It wasn't anything of their fault. It was more so of like the festival situation. So I was like, ugh, I don't really know about it.
Right.
But then they asked me to do another gig, and it was like, oh, we want to film to do another project and we need footage. And so they hired me for that. Didn't hear anything else. The next thing they asked me to do, and then I had another friend who was a white woman, and she kept getting gigs from them, right? And so they called me back and they said that oh, we need to do another promo for something else. And so I asked them, I was just like, well, now, I don't mind if, like, sometimes when you're promoting like these cover bands and stuff like that, they want to see who's in the band, right? And I was just like, well, I just have noticed that you haven't hired me for any gigs, but every time you approach me, it's always a promo video.
Right.
Like, and I've had that done to me before where I was used in this promo, but never was hired. So I just asked them straight up. I was like, look, I don't mind being in these promos if this is going to lead to me getting more work with the band.
Right.
But if I'm in these promos just so you guys can look diverse, I will have a problem with that because I don't want to be used as a pawn in that.
Right.
And they're like, no, whatever. Then they circle back and say to me, oh, well, we really don't have any gigs for you, so you don't have to come to the promo. And to me, that just showed what I was saying to be true.
Right.
They just didn't expect me to say anything about it. And that's the crazy part about it, is that they want your voice, they want your sound, but when it comes to actually booking the job, they want somebody else that looks closer to them. You know what I mean?
And it happens time and time again. And it's happened to all of us. Yeah, it's I there's so much to say about that.
I mean, it's a thing. But I will say, like, okay, so within those challenges, like, you're Canadian born, correct?
Yes.
Like, did you find anything that, like, how was your transition to coming and being able to do music here in America?
Levels. It's just crazy levels out here, right? And so I'm happy to say that I'm very comfortable in my own skin, and I'm very secure in what I do. And, I try to support other artists, bring other artists on, and work with other artists and do that thing, right? But when I got here, it was really cutthroat. I was like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to, like, community. So back home with art, like, whether we were doing praise and worship or, R&B on the R&B scene or, the hip hop scene, whatever we were doing, right? Everybody would call each other for gigs. Like, my best friend's an amazing singer as well back home. And so we'd always like, yo, I can't do the gig. Can you step in? Like, I find that community is what I really missed out here. Because, everybody's like, well, I'm not going to pass that gig on because I may get that gig taken away from me and stuff. But there's so much. I feel like we're stronger together than, like, competing. There's room for everybody in this industry. We're all different. Like, instead of competing, let's support one another and uplift one another, right? And so that was the most challenging thing. That community sense was gone. Even with the musicians and stuff that I was working with, like, it wasn't like musicians and singers. It was like a real tight community. I'm still, like, that's my family back home, right? And, we have some people here, right? And so that was the toughest part. It took, and I became like an introvert. I didn't want to go anywhere. I was like, oh my God, I don't, like, it was so cliquey in the beginning and stuff. Like, I feel like it's morphed a lot and it's changed a lot for the better. But in the beginning, when I first got out here, it was like, okay, we got this crew and then we got this crew. And I was like, oh, this is tough. Like, it's really cliquey. And, like, who are you going to befriend that's going to get you all these gigs? I'm not about that. It's just about, like, I like you as a person. It's not always about the music and what people can do for you. It's just like, how do we connect?
Yeah.
And we vibing. Okay, we good. We gonna hang.
No,
right?
absolutely. It really is a thing though. Like people would rather put somebody on a gig that will not do as a great job
Right.
than put you on the gig for their fear that you will take their job. And I'm just kind of like, anybody that, if you know me well enough, you would know there's a certain, there's a certain decorum when you're subbing for somebody. There's a certain level of respect. So like, if like going back to what you said about connection. So if I don't have that connection with you, and you're not looking to have that connection, of course you're going to walk around here fearful, thinking that you're going to, get your job stolen, and that's not what it should be about. It should be like, okay, you can't do it. I'm here to support you. I'm going to step in for you. Yes, I want to make the money. If someone asks me, hey, do you want your job? You need to know that I am going to tell you about it. Like I'm going to say, this was presented to me. I'm not going to, I've turned down a lot of gigs because it was a friend of mine's gigs, and I'm not going to like kick them in the back.
Right.
So it goes back to, like you said, like have those connections with people, because with that will give you enough ease and comfortability to say, okay, this person, I can trust this person. And that's really what it is. And not only that, the fear comes from the lack of jobs, because most of these jobs, if you're in that one for so long. And it's like, I got one of my biggest lessons and one of those things, like I got fired for the first time of the game, and I was like, oh my God, what happened? And one of my mentors was just like, Casey, it happens all the time. This music thing is a revolving door. Like, don't get your feelings hurt. Where there's one kid, like I was so butthurt. I was like, I'm doing such a good job. Why did they fire me? Like, what did I need to do?
I mean, it happens to us all.
It happens to us all. But
you're
it
not
was
the
just like,
only one.
I didn't get that, like, this is just how it works.
Right.
I get how it works.
Right.
But I feel you on that. Like, but so you came here from Canada.
Yeah.
You said you were missing the connection and the community around it.
Sense,
so like you also work with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how is that?
Well, see, I'm very blessed because we came together as a team. So that was easier. I wasn't alone. Because I don't think I would have lasted, honestly. If I had been out here for the first 3 to 6 months, it would have been like, we wrapping it up, B, let's go. I'm going back home, like for real. Because I don't think I could have. I was just into like, I'm happy doing music, but I really need that sense of like family, that community sense. You know what I'm saying? We're lucky. We came out here together, and then we started, pushing our music and stuff. And it took a while. It took a while because we started doing that in 2012. Inches, right? Because it's such a unique sound, and like we were building out here and meeting new people. It took a while on the scene. It wasn't like, oh, hey.
No, it does. And the constant feeling like you have to prove to yourself, like, you see what I can do. Like, how many times I gotta sing the same song to show you, like, either you're gonna hire me or you're not. You like my sound or you don't. Like, and it's and like for me, it was I'm an East Coast chick. Like, I got like just enough. That I'm gonna give you before I'm like, all right, fuck this. Yeah. Like, I'm out. I'm going home. I am
the same way.
Like, I'll play with you a little bit. Like, I'll play the game a little bit, but you're not gonna insult me. Like, if I feel insulted, I'm out. Like,
I have been known people like so like underestimated, like, and people like, oh, she mad mugging. She look mad all the time. I was like, first of all, I'm from the East Coast. Okay. This is just us naturally. It's like, and we don't take no mess. It's like, I'm not going to deal with that mess. I'm not going to, no.
That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I'm here for. Okay. Well, I want to get into your song, Strength of a Woman. Yeah. Let's talk about that. We are going to play it here, guys, so you'll be able to listen to it. But before we do that, tell me about what inspired you to write that.
So, Strength of a Woman is a song about, it's a song about Black women, and how we're misinterpreted all the time. That angry Black woman persona. I wanted to create this song celebrating all all my sisters out there and just like change the perception and speak from a softer perspective to show that, yeah, we do have a softer side. This is a misperception of society about Black women. And I wanted the video. It's so funny how I thought about the video and the song at the same time. I got the visuals immediately, and I was like, I just want all my sisters, my beautifully melanated sisters in this video, representing different tones, skin tones of Black, different shades of Black. And I wanted all our hair natural. Because I had intention with that song and with that video. I wanted to align with the Crown Act. You know, we spoke about this, and I was like, I'm gonna just tag them in everything I do. I'm gonna like make sure they take notice of it, because you know we're still fighting for our hair rights.
Right, what grows out of our head. Like, it's the most asinine thing that I can't quite get over. But you know, that's another conversation.
It's a whole other conversation
already.
Because there's a lot of asinine going on. But I feel like I've always been someone who's worn my hair natural. I've never pressed my hair ever, never gotten perm. So I've always, and people back home will tell you, oh, she's had a fro forever. So I've always rocked my natural hair, and I was like, this is like, I can't even believe this is like the difference between Canada and the US. We're not fighting for these laws. We're not fighting for kids to like, you feel like wearing cornrows or twists or like braids in school, like you're not going to get suspended for that. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between Canada and the US. And so I really had intention and purpose behind that song and video. So I really wanted to make it about all these beautiful Black women in this video representing themselves like with whatever hairstyle they wanted to wear, and have this kind of soft appearance to it so people could see, yeah,
Well, y'all gonna hear it right now. Because when I listened to it when you sent it to me, and it was just so euphoric. It was so uplifting. And so, guys, this is Strength of a Woman by Dessy Dilauro.
Strength of a woman, determined to rise, embracing her power, feminine divine. Strength of a woman, warrior survive, gloriously radiating from the inside. She is the queen of all creation, seated on a throne, the mother of all mothers, from where kings and queens are born. They will never ever understand her unless you live inside her mind. Misconceive, hear how they perceive her. Dwells the kindest of beauties you will find. Strength of a woman, determined to rise, embracing her power, feminine divine. Strength of a woman, warrior survive, gloriously radiating from the inside. Even when a crown gets tilted, she fixes it to where it won't bend again. Her voice is the strongest weapon, fights against all odds till the end. princess. She defies your laws of gravity. Knock her down, she's getting right back up again. Strength of a woman, determined to rise, embracing her power, feminine divine. Strength of a woman, warrior servant, gloriously radiating from the inside. She's getting back up again. She's getting back up again. You can't hold her down. You can't hold her. She's getting back up again. She's getting back up again. You can't hold her down. You can't hold her. She's getting back up again. She's getting back up again. You can't hold her down. You can't hold her.
Yes. First of all, that literally put me in the space. And the second time I'm listening to it, like I feel like I just want like light incense and like get in a bathtub and like touch myself and like just have candles everywhere. Like it was amazing. It's a whole vibe.
It's supposed to be a vibe. Yeah.
It's a whole vibe, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Like I can hear the place you were in when you wrote it, which is very beautiful. Well, I just want to say thank you for coming.
Thank you
This is
for
Dessy
having
Dilauro
me.
again, guys. Where can they find you? Like when there's people out here, talk to the people. Like
Dessy Dilauro, all across the board, social feeds, social media, music coming out. You can find me on Spotify, Dessy Dilauro, all across the board.
okay, and there you have it, guys. That's how you find her. She gave it to you, Dessy Dilauro, everywhere. I like to leave a message at the end of my shows. And it's a toast to our younger selves. If you had to give any advice about being an artist or being the strength of a woman to your younger self, what would you say to her?
I would say keep it as real as possible, authenticity, and be authentic in everything you do, and you're gonna shine.
Amazing. Well, there you have it, guys. That's a wrap. If you are listening and you want to hear anything else that we talk about, join the conversation. Please like, subscribe, share it. Do all the things we need you to do to keep this ball rolling. And then if there's any other artists or you have any specific questions for Dessy, feel free to leave us a comment. She will get it. And Daz It Daz All. Daz It Daz All is written by me, KC Carnage, and produced by myself and Rick Barrio Dill. Executive producer is Duff Ferguson. Our senior producer is Sabrina Siewert. Associate producer, Bri Coorey. Audio and video engineering and studio facilities provided by S.L.A.P Studios LA, with distribution through our collective for social progress and cultural expression, S.L.A.P the Network. If you have any ideas for a show you want to hear or see, please email us at info@slapthepower.com. And as always, go to dazitdazall.com and sign up there to make sure you will never miss a thing. See you next show.